Hi everyone, my name is Kim Gi-hwan from Korean Studio and welcome to another video on Korean grammar. Now today we're going to learn how to use the particles 에게 and hante, which correspond to in English. And we basically use these particles to say that the nouns that these particles are used with are the recipient of a verb's action. So when we say sentences like I gave something to someone or I sent a letter to someone, that to is represented by 에게 and hante. And the only difference between 에게 and hante is that 에게 is quite formal. So it's generally used in quite formal settings, and in everyday situation, we tend to use hante more. So do keep that in mind. Okay, so let's take a look at two example sentences that use 에게 and hante. 제가 선생님에게 물어봤어요. I asked the teacher. 제가 선생님에게 물어봤어요. 내가 미나한테 편지를 보냈어. I sent a letter to Mina. 내가 미나한테 편지를 보냈어. So in the first sentence, we're talking about asking a question to the teacher. So we use the particle 에게 with the noun 선생님, which means teacher. And in the second sentence, we're talking about sending a letter to Mina. So we use the particle hante with Mina to say that we sent a letter to Mina. Now, one thing to note regarding the use of 에게 and hante is that we only use 에게 and hante when the recipient of the verb's action is a person or an animal. So if the recipient of the verb's action is a place or an object, then we would use the particle 에. So in this first sentence, rather than saying I asked the teacher, if I want to say I asked the school, then we wouldn't use the particle 에게 and hante because school is a place. We will use the particle 에. So we would say 제가 학교에 물어봤어요. I asked the school. 제가 학교에 물어봤어요. And to say that I sent a letter to the company, I would say 내가 회사에 편지를 보냈어. I sent a letter to the company. 내가 회사에 편지를 보냈어. So in these sentences, to talk about asking a question to 학교, the school, and to talk about sending a letter to 회사, the company, we use the particle 에. Okay, so let's take a look at some common verbs we use with the particles 에게 and hante. 주다, to give. 선물하다, to give a present. 던지다, to throw. 보내다, to send. 붙이다, to send or ship packages. 쓰다, to write. 전화하다, to call. 묻다, to ask. 가르치다, to teach. 말하다, to speak. 가다, to go. 오다, to come. Here are some example sentences that use these verbs. 미나가 동생한테 전화했어요. Mina called her younger sibling. 미나가 동생한테 전화했어요. 제가 강아지한테 공을 던졌어요. I threw the ball to the puppy. 제가 강아지한테 공을 던졌어요. 아기가 아빠한테 갔어요. The baby went to the dad. 아기가 아빠한테 갔어요. 제가 사장님에게 말했어요. I told the CEO. 제가 사장님에게 말했어요. So in each sentence, we use either 에게 or hante to say that that person or the puppy is the recipient of the verb's action. And if the recipient of the verb's action is not a person or an animal, then we use 에. So to say that Mina called the airport rather than 동생, we would say 미나가 공항에 전화했어요. Mina called the airport. 미나가 공항에 전화했어요. So do keep in mind of this difference of using 에게 and hante with people and animals and 에 with places and objects. Okay, so today we learned to use the particles 에게 and hante to mean to when the recipient of the verb's action is a person or an animal. Hope today's video was useful again, and I'll see you soon again. Bye-bye.